I'm Andrew Sherman. I'm a Texas transplant who has always been in pursuit of art as a career. I've played in bands, pursued an acting career in Hollywood, but I found it behind the lens of a camera here in Dallas, Texas. I was born in New York, I've lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, but I love Dallas. There's a magical artistic scene in Dallas that mostly goes unnoticed to the outside world. This podcast is focused on what makes it so special and the people who make it thrive artistically. If you don't live here, and even if you do, you might not have heard of them. This is the Dallas Famous Podcast. So who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all grown up? This week on the Dallas Famous Podcast, it's Jambaloo Week. Joining us to discuss all the ins and outs and to give us a sneak peek at what's coming is Corey Pond, co-founder of Mullen and Mullen Music Group and the Jambaloo Fest. Now in its second year, the festival runs from February 7th through the 15th, featuring over 29 free shows across 15 venues in DFW. With a lineup of diverse acts and events, it's an incredible celebration of local music you won't want to miss. So here's Corey with all the exciting details. The Dallas Famous Podcast is supported by the Mullen and Mullen Music Project. The Music Project was created by Mullen and Mullen Injury Law Firm to champion the independent music scene in North Texas. Welcome back to the Dallas Famous Podcast, Deep Ellum Community Center. I'm sitting here with Corey Pond, who is the co-founder of Mullen and Mullen Music Project, Jambaloo Music Fest, Jambaloo Music Prize. Great things that you brought to the Dallas music scene. So thanks for joining us. You've been on before, but this is the first time our audience is seeing you. So
oh, really?
Yes.
Well, hi, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Excellent. And I mean, we'll talk about all things Mullen and Mullen, but really the focus is this is like the preview show to the Jambaloo Festival, the second year of the Jambaloo Festival. So I mean, let's start with Mullen and Mullen Music Project, because some people are starting to get the hang of that. You guys are out there doing it, but for those that don't, let's tell us what it is or what the point is of it.
Yeah, so Mullen and Mullen is a local personal injury law firm that's been here for over 40 years, and they have done a lot of things during that time to support the community. Most of those kind of were around, children's charities or medical charities or a few mental health things. They do a veteran thing. They do an equine therapy thing. And they also host a golf tournament that raised over $150,000 in one day last year for those same charities.
Oh, wow.
So they wanted to do something that was community-focused. Joe, who is an attorney at Mullen and Mullen, Joe Morrison, and I kind of came up with this idea, and Joe is a huge music lover. He and I kind of connected over a now 15-year relationship, and a lot of that connection was built at shows and around music. So they wanted to support the community in some way. They wanted it to be about music, and this kind of gelled, and then it took on a major life of its own, and I think they were very pleased with the results, just in terms of the difference that it made, the impact that it seemed to make on musicians. Probably the most, it's good for their brand too, right? They're doing good and people are seeing it. But I think the most impactful thing really was just them hearing directly from venue owners and musicians that the things they're doing have made, it's a small difference, but it's a difference. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the Mullen and Mullen Music Project, and Jambaloo is really the primary vehicle through which that gets brought to life, I guess. So for those who don't know what Jambaloo is, I'll just start with kind of telling you what the mission statement is, and then I'll stop looking at my notes so much. But so Jambaloo initially was a free week-long festival, basically modeled after Austin's Free Week, with a little bit of our own tweaks. We have touring bands, they don't, and whereas theirs is kind of concentrated in one little bitty neighborhood, ours is spread all over DFW. Excuse me. But then it grew beyond that because we saw need and people ask and people suggest, and we get a ton of ideas brought to us. And so some of those are worth following through, so that What was originally just the festival has expanded now to include a venue prize, which is a $20,000 annual prize given out to an independent local venue that needs the help, and a music prize, which is a $20,000 also cash prize that's combined with a bunch of other stuff that you could argue is worth as much as the cash for the best local album. And that will culminate in June. So right when Jambaloo ends, we'll announce the finalists for that, and then the public will get to vote on them along with some judges. So we have a huge, busy spring and early summer coming up. And then at some point I'll be telling you about fall events, but we're not quite there.
Yeah, I mean, and you guys are involved with like the Dallas, the Busker program. There's a bunch of stuff you guys will help out with, right?
Yeah, and I think I'd sidetracked myself, but basically the mission of Jambaloo is, and some of this is descriptive as well, but it's a year-round initiative to uplift the entire DFW music community. And that really happens by focusing on independent local artists and independent local venues and the people that support them. So, like I said, initially it was anchored by a free week, which was just called Jambaloo. Now we're referring to that as the Jambaloo Festival. And now it will continue year-round with pop-up programming content that we'll be introducing later this year in, maybe a big way. And what is the largest local album prize in the United States.
Yeah, that's huge. You can refer back to a previous episode where we talked in depth about that. But today, it's the festival.
That's right. So the festival itself this is the second year. It starts February the 7th, and it runs through February the 15th. It's at 15 venues, mostly along the I-30 and Deep Ellum corridor, with a few kind of outliers, Josie Records being the most geographic outlier, but also maybe the most unusual venue that we have this year. So there are, I believe it's 29 free shows. Everything is free. You can go to every one of these shows for free as long as there's room at the shows. And the first show is Saturday, February the 7th. That one is in Tulips. That will be preceded by the Symposium, which is a panel that includes civic leaders, so the Dallas Music Office, the Fort Worth Music Office, the Texas Music Office, which is part of the governor of the state of Texas's office, whether you're a fan of him or not. And I'll leave it there. So those people, we have S1, who is a pretty, maybe the public doesn't know who he is, but the music industry does. He's worked with Kanye and Beyonce and has won, I think, 4 Grammys.
Wow.
Trey Nigella is part of that, who's also won 4 Grammys, has, it's kind of the nicest, the highest end studio in DFW by a good bit. Like Megan Thee Stallion was in there a couple of weeks ago for 6 straight days working on stuff. And then Tammy Thompson, who, if you're in the music world, you 100% know who Tammy Thompson is.
Sure.
And if you're not, you probably don't, but you should. She's one of the more important and one of just the coolest, nicest people.
Absolutely. Friend of the podcast.
In the whole scene. So that'll be fun. That kicks things off that night. Then we have, and this one's a bit of an anomaly, so it's good we're talking about it first. This is also very personal, whereas the rest of it isn't. So we've got Cole Kuchna, who is the host of the Dissect podcast, which was named one of the best podcasts by New York Times. It's the number 2 music podcast in the world on Spotify. And he will come in, and he does kind of a long-form, live, deep analysis, like a music theory-based analysis of songs. And he's a huge Radiohead fan, and so am I. And I know there are others, and there's also people that don't like Radiohead. Well, just stay home. That's my advice. Don't come to this. This is not for you.
Right.
So Cole will be on stage dissecting 5 Radiohead songs live with a band, a Radiohead cover band that I found out of Austin called the Paranoid Androids. And look, I know Jambaloo generally is not about cover bands. It's mostly about local music. But it's also about rewarding people that love music in a unique way. This type of event, and they're good. They're really a good Radiohead. I mean, whatever a good Radiohead cover band means, that is what they are. So they'll play an hour set afterwards. But what's cool about, I know the songs, and if you're a Radiohead nerd, you're in for a treat. I got to pick one of the songs.
Oh, cool.
I'll say that one. I picked Pyramid Song.
Oh, yeah, good one.
And the 5 songs, the band didn't know any of the 5 songs, so they had to learn all 5 of the songs. And if you know anything about Pyramid Song, I bet you they hate me for picking that song because that is not an easy.
That's a tricky
That is
one.
not, especially for the poor drummer.
Yeah, but you're not getting into a Radiohead tribute band if you're not skilled,
Oh no, they're all like elite musicians.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could pay a whole lot more for a cover band than what these guys cost.
Right.
But it'll be worth it. So they'll be playing stems live, and most people don't know what a stem is, but for those who do, I'm talking to you. For those who don't, I'm not. They'll be playing stems from the song live on stage, and then he'll talk about the song, break it down, dissect it, and then they'll perform the entire song front to back. And then they'll take a break, Cole will leave, and then they'll do their thing and we'll just have fun listening to Radiohead. So that's the first night. It is an example of the freedom that Jambaloo gets to have that is unique. You would never, ever, ever pay as a promoter to produce an event like that and try to sell tickets to it because you wouldn't sell enough. You would lose money, right?
Yeah.
There aren't 500 people that are going to pay to go see that, but there's probably 200 or 300 that think it's one of the coolest things that they've ever seen. So I'm super excited about that night. Then it gets a little more democratic and broadly popular from there. So we take a break. Sunday's the Super Bowl, so enjoy your Super Bowl watching. Last year we had shows on Monday, and they were by far the most poorly attended shows of the week. So we don't want to spend our budget producing things that people aren't going to come to because it's a Monday. So we skipped Sunday and Monday this year and backloaded the event. On Tuesday, we have, I'm going to try to do this without looking. There's a fun show at the Cicada with Meech Pango. Oh, yeah. Which I also now know, I kind of have a feel for the RSVPs.
Yeah.
Super popular, like surprisingly popular show. They have a ton of RSVPs.
Well, they were doing really well, and then they took a break, and now they're back. And actually,
I think they've only played a few shows back.
And I did a music video for them that keeps getting viewed. Like, it just shows me how popular they are, because like every time I look for my podcast numbers, their video is being viewed still. So that's kind of cool.
I have not seen them yet, but
they're great. They're a lot of
I've
energy.
been super impressed with the response to that show.
Yeah.
Same night in Dallas, the show that I'll be at that night is Cure for Paranoia and Magna Carta and Rose Garden Funeral Party, I believe, and that's at Deep Elm Art Co. We have some fun stuff that we'll be doing at that show that isn't promoted. Don't worry, it's not like some famous singer is going to show up, but there will be a few of the shows, that being one of them, where there'll be some extra stuff that people aren't expecting. You might walk away with something that you didn't walk in the door with, or you definitely will have a memory about the show that you were not expecting to have when you walked in the door. That's not all of them, just a handful.
Right.
So, and I don't have to tell anybody how hot Cure for Paranoia has been lately. And I'll just say this, they're people I care about too as humans, but you better go see them at this show, because I think a year from now it's, Cure for Paranoia has been fairly accessible for a long time in Dallas, and they play a lot of shows. But they're on the verge of something, and I think that's going to change. So we are excited to be putting on this free show in a big venue that's perfect for them, right?
Sure.
I mean, Art Co.
Yeah.
and Art Show.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty good match. So without telling you, I think you could probably put the pieces together. It's a very artistic-driven show, and there will be some elements of that
Nice.
that you wouldn't ordinarily
Well, I
see.
hope you don't take all the art off the wall because they're doing an exhibit where I'll have stuff up. So
No, we're actually leaving every bit of the art on the wall.
Awesome.
You know
Okay.
what's cool about Art Co.? So that wall where they hang the art is projection mapped.
yep.
Well, I didn't know this. They map the art. So the image that goes on the wall takes the art into consideration. It
Sure.
doesn't project on top of it. So at first I was like, "Oh, I want to use that wall. Do we have to take that art down?" But they've solved that. So no, we will not. We would never take local artists' art off the wall to put up whatever weird, crazy shit we want to do. Right? I mean, it would be
Right.
fun to do it, but
Yeah.
we want them to sell their art.
Yeah. They being me.
And we may be, well, not you. We don't care about you. The other people.
Right. That's funny. Yeah. Arco is where I cut my teeth and will always have a place in my heart for them.
And one quick, I'm just going to go through the shows here. Maybe not every one, but the ones of interest. But Magna Carta, most people are not going to know who that is. It's an Austin band, and I would equate them most closely to the Roots.
Huh.
They are the perfect complement to Cure for Paranoia. That is specifically, there weren't many bands that we went out searching to put on a specific lineup. It was just we liked the band. That was a band that we wanted to book because they would go so well with Cure for Paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rose Garden Funeral Party is kind of an odd thing to have in there, but that's what Jambaloo is. We're going to have some.
Yeah.
Some
And
weird
they're blowing up
names.
too. They're touring like internationally and doing well.
Oh, yeah. So then moving to Wednesday, big night, actually. So that night at Ruins, Joel Salazar, who I bet you probably know,
Oh, yeah.
and who is also a super important person kind of behind the scenes in the local music
Yep.
center. He's especially important when it comes to dance. And so that night at Ruins, we have a hip-hop dance battle, which will have a $1,000 prize. There'll be judges.
Oh, wow. Can
It's,
anyone enter that or?
It's a 2v2 format. Yeah. I mean, you just have to sign up, and you do all that through Joel. I would be lying if I told you exactly how to sign up because
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I do know that this is a part of a series that he does called Battlegrounds. He just did one this weekend, which I believe was the 8th anniversary. So the people that do hip-hop dance contests should know
Right.
how to sign up.
Okay, cool.
But if you don't,
Yeah.
look for Battlegrounds, and there's an easy way to sign up. And
Okay.
it's a free thing to enter, but I think it is, they can't have an unlimited number of.
Sure. But yeah, just
Folks.
if you can get in there before it's too late.
So that'll be cool. Then we have kind of competing rock and roll shows that night. One in Fort Worth at Tulips, where Quaker City Nighthawks will play. We had them last year. They were also the very first band that we ever booked on the Mullen and Mullen Music Project concert series, which is now a thing of the past. It's morphed. So that'll be a great show. But we have stacked that with kind of Americana country singer-songwriters, which is kind of a weird thing to do. But again, that's what happens with Jambaloo. So you also get to see Jackson Scribner, Matthew McNeil, and Garrett T. Capps. And as a new thing that you'll see more of this year, there's also a panel prior to that with Amplified Minds,
Oh,
which
cool.
is a local charity organization that we've partnered with and will raise money for and amplify. Isn't that perfect? All year long. So this Jambaloo will be kind of the first opportunity that we get to really work closely with them. And they wanted to put on this festival. So if you want to go and hear about that and learn about that, then go early. Get there at 6.
And I feel like I saw that the Amplified Minds is going to start having stuff going in Fort Worth now. Is that right?
That is right.
Yeah.
And well, we do not deserve credit for that, but what we did do is connect all those people.
Yeah.
And kind of create a reality in which that could exist. And so we're super excited about that. I think they just announced that today.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be a little bit more information that will be revealed that evening during that panel.
Cool.
And some really neat folks. Cam from Cure for Paranoia is on there. Jenny from the Vandaliers is on there. There's a PhD who's actually the president of Amplified Minds, and then the actual therapist that would be working with people in Fort Worth will also be on the panel.
Cool.
So, and for those that don't know about Amplified Minds, it offers mental health support to anyone, but it's focused on creatives, largely musicians. They have group therapy, individual therapy, online therapy, in-person therapy, LGBTQIA therapy, music therapy, and maybe there's an art therapy one, but it's all free for people that need it, right? If you have money, it's not free, but if most don't, and
Right.
you can go get those things free there. So we are so excited to be partnering with them. More on that later. The other show that night, which is the one, again, that I'll be at, is Low Cut Connie with J. Isaiah Evans and the Boss Tweed and Dev Wolf. The two local bands is where I'll start because Dev is a part of the busking program. For the people that don't know him, just super wonderful human being, like
Yes.
really nice person.
Yep.
And has had a hell of a good year as a musician and has kind of gained some traction. I think most people that would be listening to your podcast would know about Isaiah.
Yep.
Isaiah has an album entered in the Music Prize that is a very good album. Would not surprise me if it did well, but that's still going on, so it may or may not advance.
Sure.
But I have listened to it, and no surprise, it's great. And then Low Cut Connie, if you've not seen them, Low Cut Connie is like a gritty, dirty, dingy rock and roll show.
Where are they from? Are they here? Or?
From the Northeast. It's either Philly or Jersey.
Okay.
And it feels that way, but it's kind of it's also kind of Southern rocky, which is or that's what it reminds me of. It's the same vibe. It's not that music, but it's the same feel. But a great live show, and all three of those people. That lineup was about energy. Like everybody had, because Low Cut Connie has so much energy, you had to put bands that would match that on there.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
that's what that is.
Yeah, I've heard about. Like they're supposed to be amazing live.
Oh yeah, and it's a small band, so it's tons of energy out of a very few people. All right, so moving on to Thursday at the Post, which is a new venue for us this year. I guess Artco is a new venue for us this year as well. The Cicada is, the Ruins is. Jenny Rose, the front woman from the Vandaliers, is playing with a kick-ass Fort Worth punk band called Labels.
Oh, okay.
Do you know them yet?
No.
Check them out. I really think someone, a media person, turned me on to them, and I'm partial to punk music, but I think they have something. And then Devley Miller, which I'm going to talk about. Sorry. Devley Miller just released an EP last year, and he mistakenly entered it into the Music Prize. It's only 18 minutes long. And I, as a shitty leader, did not catch it. And so it got through, and it got judged, even though it's not eligible. My mistake. I'll own it. Full credit. And 3 of the people that judged it caught it, so they ranked it last. So that means, and that would really drag your thing down. Point being, if it had been eligible, I think there's a chance it might have been the highest rated album in the entire thing.
Wow. Okay.
And Dev I sent him an Instagram message and said, "Hey, I'd love to talk to you." And I just wanted to explain to him, like, you're not eligible. But, so I got to tell him, hey, like all these people who are not idiots, listen to your music, and the ones that judged it without, discounting the fact that loved your music. And it's good. I can't even describe what it is. It's kind of like an electronic-y, Radiohead-ish vibe. But I am dead serious. Go check out Dev Lee Miller's music. And I had a conversation with him on the phone when I got to tell him all this that I won't ever forget the rest of my life. And he is now, and I don't know, cause and effect, I don't know. But since I spoke to him, he's now recording a new album. He was so excited to get to play on Jambaloo. He opened for somebody not too long ago at Deep Ellum Art Co. I can't remember who it was, but really worth checking out. And it's just another example of Dallas-Fort Worth has so much talent that people don't know about, that doesn't get highlighted or listened to. So I was excited that we have a chance to do something like that.
So I'll check that out.
It's really good, and he's going to make a new album. So that is exciting. That night is our first night at Lady Love Lounge. Brandon Blue and his brother Stony Blue is coming in from New York to play with him. I happened to go to I think you can talk about this. I went to an after party last weekend, and Brandon Blue was playing at some place. I won't even say where it is because I'm not sure if it should have been happening or not. But it was freaking awesome. It was fun. So much energy. That same night before Lady Love at Spinster Records, we have another panel, which Tammy Thompson actually put together. It's in conjunction with the Women in Music organization here in Dallas, and it's going to be a panel that focuses on women in record stores that either own or operate them.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So if you want to go over to Bishop Arts, you can go listen to that panel, grab a bite to eat, and then go into Lady Love, if there's room.
Yeah, it's tiny.
There rarely is.
Yeah.
And then two other, there's so much texture. I promise I'm not going to talk about every show, but that is the first night, Thursday, that will be at Josie Records. For those of you who don't know Josie Records, it's the largest record store in the nation. It's at roughly Josie and 635. That night we have Michael Lee in the limousine and the Wartime limousine and Paul Shalda. Paul's another person I'll plug. His album, Paul Shalda's album, is very good. His family, I think, has a band called the Shaladas that just released an album, I think, last week. And I just listened to that yesterday and was blown away. So fun and happy and soft. Really great record.
Yeah, Paul's one of my first regular clients, actually. I just take photos of him a lot.
Another good dude.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know Paul that well, but everything that I've heard about him and the limited interactions I've had have been wonderful. So it'll be neat to see. Josie has a stage and a DJ booth, which we'll get to on Friday. That night also, there is a band. This is the first time we've booked in this genre, and I guess I just don't know it that well. But so we booked a Tejano band called Los del North Texas, and they are a band that Trey Nagella works with, the producer that I mentioned to you earlier that owns Luminous Sounds. And they have one song called Perla, Perla, that went insane. All of these guys were working in Paris, Texas, doing I want to say they were construction guys. I'm not sure. But, some blue-collar job. And now these guys are all touring around the country selling out 300-cap rooms or larger. So we have them over in Grand Prairie. They're playing with another band. I can't remember their name. It's like Los de la Lone Star, I think is the name of it. So I'm learning the naming of Tejano band nomenclature system is rather simple, it turns out.
Yeah.
So that's Thursday. Then the weekend gets nuts, and this was intentional. We hope to build this into a thing that people from Austin and Houston and Oklahoma City and Tulsa want to come in for because it's free and because the bands are worthwhile. But if you spread it out too much, that makes it hard. So we tried to lump everything, really, a lot of it, into Friday and Saturday. So on Friday and Saturday, we're the 13th, Friday the 13th, and on Valentine's Day the 14th, you should go see free music in Dallas because there are some amazing shows. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but the highlights, obviously the headliner of the whole event is Tripping Daisy. They're playing at Tulips, which is a massive underplay. The last time they played in Dallas, they played the Bomb Factory, and it was pretty dang full. So Tulips is a 550 cap venue.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So the energy in that room that night is going to be insane. I went to the Geese concert there, and that is what I have in my head. Just the same vibe. Now it's going to be an older crowd, but older people can get down for a little while.
Sure.
And they're supported by the Cutthroat Fitches and Denver Williams and the Gas Money. We'll come back to the way that you get into these shows that are for sure going to be full. I'll cap us off at the end with that. Another amazing show that night, also in Grand Prairie at the Firehouse Gastropark, is Angel White with Desi 5 and Christian Carlos Carvajal. Anybody that knows me well knows that I love Desi. Mm-hmm. Desi is one of my close friends, and I think is a shining example of how you should live your life as a musician in this city. Desi gives so much back to the community. He's a true professional, and he is an entertainer on stage. So if you go see Angel, make sure you get there early enough to catch Desi too. I will be at that show, and there are a lot of shows. That means I'm going to that instead of Tripping Daisy.
That's the gastro?
Yeah, that's in Grand Prairie. And I'm going there because I'm going to other things afterwards. But Tripping Daisy doesn't need me. That'll be more room for someone else.
Sure.
And I may drop by before it starts to say hello. But so that's a great show. And then the thing, honestly, just Corey. Other than the Cole Kuchna thing, the night that I am the most excited about and the event I'm the most excited about is Mark Farina, who is a DJ, and he does this thing called Mushroom Jazz, which is hard to explain because the music is so subtly many things at once. But it's fun, and it's dancey. And it's going to be inside of Josie Records, and it is not going to be Josie Records turns the lights down and a DJ plays. We're going to do stuff to that place to make it cool. And it will be fun, and it will be a vibe, and it will go on until 2 a.m. at least.
Okay.
Nice.
And
Manhattan Project is going to be there. There'll be free, I shouldn't even say that. There will be beer for people to have that you will not have to pay for, but it's not like a go get drunk thing.
Right.
I mean, if you want to have a couple beers, great, have some. You could try their great beer, but mostly it's turning into a church of music that night, and I cannot wait. The Free Man is a part of it that night. Manhattan Project Beer Company actually has 2 shows. Friday is Remy Riley, Grayson Wynn, and Leslie Austin. Yeah. All 3 either current or former Dallas buskers.
Yeah, powerhouse women's show for sure.
Yeah, it's a cool night. And then that night we're back at Lady Love also. Saturday at the Free Man, Caddy Turner and Alex Oeza are playing at Dada. Doors for that show are 4 o'clock. Saturday's my favorite day of the whole thing. Not my favorite show, but my favorite day. If you want Saturday, starting at 2 o'clock in Deep Ellum, you can listen to free music of all different kinds, never get in a car, from 2 p.m. till 2 a.m.
Wow.
So to give you an idea of how that would work, there is an all-vinyl DJ showcase at 3 Links which features Oscar winner Adrian Casada, one half of the Black Pumas. He will be DJing, and DJ Shortcut, who, if you're in the vinyl world, is a big deal. That's somebody that we're flying in. Mark Farina obviously is. And then Joel's bringing his whole Fresh 45s crew in there. That same night, if you're into that, DJ Sober does a residency at Lady Love, but Justin Strauss is coming in from New York to play with him. Justin Strauss has done remixes for LCD Sound System. I might be wrong, but I think he did one for Radiohead. I think he's maybe done, I don't know, like somebody like Taylor Swift or Beyonce, but very likable. There's also a country show, the Drop Teens at AM/FM. That starts at 5. That DJ showcase starts at 2. The Caddy Adams show starts at 4. There's a free show at the Freeman at 7. There will be 4 buskers playing on the street in Deep Ellum on that Saturday. So if you go to Deep Ellum on Valentine's Day, with or without your date, you're going to have fun. And if you want, you can see all different kinds of music without ever getting in a car.
Right. Maybe you can meet your special someone at
Maybe
Jambaloo.
you can. Maybe that's the thing. I would love that. I hope so.
Send us your stories if that is you.
So that's the stuff that we've always done traditionally, but then we have a bonus this year. On Sunday at the Granada Theater at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we have been fortunate enough to partner with Booker T. Washington High School, and there's a lot of things that I'm passionate about, if you can tell, but that's very high on the list. And I, who have been around music for 20 years, only very recently truly learned of how important Booker T. Washington High School is to this entire community.
Oh, yeah.
I think between it and UNT, and I would honestly say it's more important. There are so many people in this community that came from there. Everybody knows the big ones, right? Badu and Rebier and Nora Jones, Edie Brickell, but it's the people you don't know about that are really more important. So they're going to have 4 different bands, student bands, performing, and I'm not going to get into what that is. It wouldn't mean anything anyway, but I promise you, I have seen them perform. I've been to Booker T. Washington events. The woman who is in charge, I knew better than to try to produce this myself. I was like, no, I can't do it at that level. You guys go, do your thing. It will be awesome. Those musicians, and this is no slight to anybody else that's performing, but I'm just going to straight up say it, that those are some of the best musicians that will play during Jambaloo, is the Booker T. Washington students.
Wow. Okay.
Period. And we will have a couple of alumni bands that follow that. One I'm still waiting to find out. Nobody super crazy, so don't get excited. But whoever it is, I promise you, is going to be an elite musician. And it'll be a good time, and it will be impressive. And I hope that people go to that. I hope they support that thing with their checkbook, not just their attendance. And I hope that people will take the time to actually do a little bit of looking into Booker T. Washington. I had this impression that it was this elite high school for. It's not. It's not. Half of the people that go there or more are broke-ass poor. And it is not cheap to be an elite musician. Just imagine being a violin player. You can't play a $200 violin if you're a violin player. It doesn't make the right sound, right? You have to get a good violin. Well, how do you pay for that?
Yeah.
If you live in a house with 20 other people, or there are students that have graduated from Booker T. Washington that were homeless that went to Juilliard.
Wow.
A couple of years ago, Juilliard accepts 12 male dancers every year from the entire world. 12. 5 of them graduated from Booker T. Washington.
Jeez, wow.
Think about that for a minute. that of the whole world, and 5 of them came from 2 miles from where we're sitting right now.
Huh.
And it's not limited to dance. That's true in every single artistic element that they represent. And they don't have enough money. And what's going on in the world right now doesn't help them with that aspect of what they need. So we'll do whatever we can, which will be small compared to the overall need. But I really encourage people to not only go to that show, but to pay attention to them and what they do, because it matters a lot and they need help.
Right.
So does Amplified Minds. Those are the things that we're tying our wagon to this year. And I don't imagine we'll ever unhitch our wagon from either of them. So those are kind of the shows. I think to take a step back and now look at it from a bigger picture, there's 2 or 3 things that I think are important this year relative to last year. One is, last year we had 4 venues. This year we have 15 venues. Some of that is just wanting to support a more diverse group of venues, right? Last year we started with Spoon, and we had a close partnership, and it was great to work with those venues, and we didn't have enough time to do anything else. But this year we did. We had a little time, not enough, and that was the most important thing that we wanted to do this year, was to make it more inclusive and to make it more accessible. So if you live in Grand Prairie or Arlington, or if you live in Midlothian, everywhere you are this year, you are significantly closer to a show than you were last year. And a lot of people are going to be within 15 minutes of a show. If you live within 15 minutes of I-30 between Dallas and Fort Worth, you are 15 minutes from free live music, multiple days of the week. So that's a big thing. The other is I would just say it's the diversity of what we're doing. It always mattered to us. People that don't do this, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to find women artists. Sometimes it's hard to find genres. I think we did a good job. I think we could do a better job of kind of trying to make sure that we represented all different things. There's, like I said, there's a women-focused panel. There's Tejano music this year. There's jazz. There's blues. There's hip-hop. There's a huge focus on DJ and electronic and vinyl culture, which we didn't have last year, and something that's important, at a personal level. So the expansion of the panels from 1 to 3, we would love there to be 7, but that's what we could do this year. So I think Jambaloo always was intended to be for everybody, right? It's not in any way supposed to be exclusive of anything, period. So this year I think we built it out in a way that more accurately represents our desire to make it for everyone. And then the last piece that I would say, actually there's 2 more. There's going to be some shows, and I'm not going to tell you all which ones, but I would just say, think of Tulips, Artco, Josie, Lady Love as places where you might go to a show there and something unexpected might happen. Whether that's visually or experientially, or, maybe it's a surprise that we give people, with the idea that we want everything that we're doing to be something that stands out in their memory later in the year, right? Not just because we want them to think about Jambaloo, but because of what Jambaloo means. And hopefully all year long, people are more conscious of supporting music in a thoughtful way, as opposed to just living your life. It's a small thing, but if we make a tiny difference with a lot of people in how they support art, then it's a big difference. So those are kind of the biggest elements. The last one, and maybe the most important one, is this year we introduced what I think we're calling a charity reservation ticket. And so for shows like Tripping Daisy probably if it was a sold ticket, I don't think it's that crazy to think they'd sell 1,500 tickets in Fort Worth at $50 a piece.
Yeah, definitely.
They did more than that over here, right? So for $20 all in, you donate, that money goes 100% to charity. Mullen & Mullen is even paying the 3% credit card processing fee so that all 20 of your dollars goes to charity. Pre-Kindle, who is our partner this year, is waiving all their fees. So if you go spend $20 on Tripping Daisy, $20 gets donated to these charities that I already talked about. And another one, there's a Fort Worth Abroad is another charity that we'll be working with just on that one show. You get to go to that show for $20. You are guaranteed to walk in the door. We will hold your spot until 90 minutes after doors open, and $20 will go to that charity. You don't have to do that. You can roll the dice and RSVP, and the show is free. My guess is on Tripping Daisy, you ain't going to get to go into that show unless you're willing to donate $20 to charity. And I'm sorry, if you're not, then don't go. I don't give a shit. The whole purpose of this is to support things and help things. And $20 for Tripping Daisy in a 500 cap room is something that that's might as well be free.
Yeah.
Those tickets, and we've gone to great lengths to make sure they don't get scalped, but there will still be some that sneak through, and I bet you those tickets are selling for over $100. So don't be chintzy. Spend the $20, support the local charity, make sure you have a spot at that show, and if you don't show up or something happens or who knows, well then, oh no, you gave $20 to a great cause, and you can feel good about yourself for doing it. So there's the ability, if you want, to make a donation on a lot of shows. At venues like Josie, we're not going to do that because they've never charged anyone to get into Josie Records, so we're not going to start.
Sure.
But on a lot of the shows, there is the option to secure a ticket. And I think as Jambaloo evolves and grows, that is not going to go away, so get used to it. It will probably be a bigger thing next year than it is this year. And I think it's our hope that it won't happen in year one, but that in future years that we could raise like meaningful amounts of money for these local charities. And it's just such a weird dynamic. All of this is so strange, and you know, to think that Mullen & Mullen would be willing to foot the bill for all of this it's hard for me to wrap my head around. Even I can't imagine what it is for people that don't know them the way that I do.
Yeah.
So go have fun. There's not many cities in the country that have anything like this. And I could tell you, the more people support it, the bigger it will get. I hope that everyone can look at year one of Jambaloo and year two of Jambaloo, and without me saying anything, look ahead to year three and see where things are headed. I mean, this is an ambitious project. We want it to be something that puts Dallas on the map. This isn't just about local musicians getting help. This is also about people outside of Dallas recognizing that Dallas, Fort Worth, is one of the best places you could be a musician anywhere in the country right now. And that really was not true 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I would look you in the eye and tell you that, but I have seen the things that people are doing. We're a small part of that, but a lot has changed here, and for the much better for musicians.
And
it's really impressive.
Been a big part of a lot of that too, or contributing to shining the light on some of those things that are already happening here or trying to happen here. So
I think some of what we've seen is we showed up at a similar time that the Dallas Music Office did. Mm-hmm. And what is fascinating to me is there are a group of people, most of them are in Dallas proper, who are like-minded, who genuinely are like, oh, you have a community project? Can I be a part of it?
Yeah, it's true.
They don't want anything. They just want to be a part of it. No one. I will shout out Tammy Thompson until the day I die. she has been such a catalyst for so many things that have gone on here and has helped connect. Christina Hart has too, Tom Martins even, but a lot of it's been over here. And what we have done and what the Dallas Music Office have done, and I don't want to leave out Fort Worth, but they've been around for a while. Dallas was new and we're new, is people are connecting with each other that didn't used to connect. That's it.
Yeah.
And all those people are like-minded. And people like Tammy and Christina and me, and others, Joel Salazar, Gavin is similar. Once we get to talking to each other, we start coming up with ideas and doing stuff, and then there's another person that comes in and another person. And so we're building this awesome kind of foundational group of people who've been doing this a long time, who give a shit, who like actually care. We've all been doing it long enough that we've seen enough people leave and we've seen enough people with talent fail that we're sick of it. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen everywhere, and it does not need to happen here. And it shouldn't. And I think we are collectively, us and many other people that I'm not even mentioning, that I don't even know about, are changing the city. And I'm super proud, and I know Mullen and Mullen is too, to be a part of that in any way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, come to Jambaloo. Go RSVP at jambaloo.live. It's free, but it doesn't have to be if you want to support local charities.
Corey, thanks so much for breaking it all down. We will see you out there at the festival. Like you said, we got the website. You can check that out. So just thanks for everything that Mullen and Mullen you guys are doing, and it's going to be fantastic.
Well, thanks for having me on again. I'm always happy to come back.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.
I'd like to thank Corey Pond for joining us and discussing Jambaloo Week. You can get all these details and RSVP at jambaloo.live. Thank you to the Deep Ellum Community Center for letting us record here. Theme song Unstoppable by Salim Narala, and the outro is The Place to Be by Electric Ants. Thanks again to the Mullen & Mullen Music Project for their support. Like, subscribe, and share the podcast, and we'll see you next week.